Story 1. My ML just threw out all of my groceries. Grocery stores are out of stock and I'm losing my mind. For some personal reasons, my mother-in-law had to move in with my husband and me for a while. I'm South Asian, and my husband is white. Indian food is a huge part of my upbringing, and I've always loved it. With the stay-at-home orders, I found myself with more time to cook than I had before. So, I stocked up my kitchen with rice, spices, and everything else I'd need to make the meals I enjoy. My husband is completely fine with it and actually loves the food. Unfortunately, my mother-in-law doesn't feel the same. She's never been a fan of me, and her comments often reflect that. One time she even said, "What kind of people eat with their hands? Just use a knife and fork like normal people." My husband has always stood up for me when this happens, but living with her full-time is starting to take a toll on him. The complaints started right away when she moved in. She would say things like, "Why does that smell so strong? It'll cling to the walls. Stop that." Or, "Are you really feeding my son that? Just make him some normal American food." I know the quarantine is affecting everyone, so I chose to stay quiet. My husband tried to talk to her about it once, but she didn't listen, as usual. Yesterday morning, I woke up, went downstairs to chat with my husband and ML for a while, then headed to the kitchen. To my shock, my pantry was completely empty. No rice, spices, or flour. Even my rice dispensing machine was gone. I went to the fridge. Besides milk, bread, butter, jam, and eggs, everything was gone. I asked my husband what happened to the food. He looked confused until my ML chimed in, saying she threw everything out. When asked why, she casually said, "My son isn't used to eating your kind of food. Just cook him some American food instead." This really angered me. She has this constant need to ignore the fact that I'm American. When she does acknowledge it, she insists that I only got my citizenship through marriage, which is entirely untrue. I was born here, and so were the last 4 generations of my family. I went grocery shopping later, but the store was out of basically everything I needed. When I got home, she still had the nerve to ask me why I wasn't cooking my usual meals. Edit. My husband did tell her what she did was completely unacceptable and awful, but we haven't considered evicting her yet. I'm thinking of reaching out to my sister-in-law to see if she'll take her in, though. The only issue is that ML doesn't want to move because it would take her away from her friends. Honestly, I don't care anymore. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and she shouldn't be seeing her friends anyway. Comment 1. Get her out of your house or make her pay for the food she threw out. WTF? This is a pandemic. She doesn't get to throw out food. Evict her now. Her behavior is atrocious and her own biological daughter can take care of her and feed her whatever the heck she likes. As an aside, turmeric and ginger have many healthy properties and your husband will be in much better shape health-wise than eating the standard, starchy American diet. Which is what I'm eating. Comment 2. Nope. Get your shit and get out of my house. That would have been my response. There's food shortages right now. And even if she doesn't want her son eating the food, she could have at least donated it. Nope. She gotta go. Kick her out. Comment 3. Stop keeping quiet. She is a guest in your home. She doesn't get to dictate what you cook or anything else about how you live or manage your home or marriage. The first time she complained, she should have been told that you're sorry she is uncomfortable with your cooking and that you would completely understand as she would be more comfortable staying elsewhere. Because those are her choices, being a gracious guest or hitting the road. Throwing out the groceries in your home would be a gross overstep at any time, but during a pandemic when supplies are short is just as stupid as it is disgusting. This woman feels free to disrespect you, make wholly racist and xenophobic comments to you, and bulldoze right over you, and both you and your husband are allowing it. It's long past time both you and your husband put a stop to it. Throw her out and let her know she's not welcome back until she can respect both of you. She doesn't seem to understand that disrespecting you is disrespecting her son. Maybe your husband doesn't understand that either. Story 2. Am I wrong for restricting FML from accessing my son's confidential files? I'm feeling conflicted and unsure if I'm in the wrong, so I'd like some perspective. Here's the situation. My son is 19 months old, and I've noticed some early signs of autism, which seemed to be becoming more apparent over time. As an autistic person myself, I feel I can pick up on these subtle signs more easily than someone who isn't. At his 18-month checkup, the doctor and a nurse practitioner both agreed after hearing my concerns that he might have autism. They also noted that he's behind on developmental milestones. They referred him to a developmental interventionist for a full assessment, which brings us to the issue. My future mother-in-law, FMIL, has been a developmental interventionist for 30 years, though she now works at a different location than the one I was referred to. However, she still sometimes works at that office. I had already planned to tell the team not to involve her in any way with my son's case, including reading his file, during the upcoming assessment. But just this past week, I found out she had already accessed and read my son's file and then called my fiancé to talk about what it said, including the reason for his referral. She claims she's allowed to access any case file at any time, even if she isn't working directly with the case. I was really upset about this, so I emailed the person handling my son's case, explaining that I knew if FMIL had accessed the file and felt it was a serious boundary violation, especially given that she's his grandmother. I requested that they restrict her access to the file moving forward. They called me afterward to apologize, admitting they didn't know she could access files like that and agreed it wasn't necessary for her to do so. They assured me they would look into restricting her access and would move forward without causing any conflict within the family. Now, my fiancé is telling me I need to call FMIL and apologize for what I've done because he believes I've potentially ruined her retirement and career. She's set to retire soon. He thinks I should have told her beforehand that I would take this step if she accessed his file again. However, I'm not sure I agree with him. I feel like she would have still read the file and simply not told us. I don't see how I'm wrong for asking them to restrict her access when she was the one who breached confidentiality by reading the file. If there are consequences for her actions, that's on her, right? Maybe I should have talked to her directly first, but I also don't think she should have been snooping in the first place. For some background, she's strongly opposed to the idea of my son having autism and refuses to acknowledge any signs. I just want him to have a fair, unbiased assessment, free from any influence from her, especially if she could read the file and sway the opinions of those involved. So, am I in the wrong here? Am I being too harsh or unfair? I'm just trying to protect my son and ensure he gets the proper assessment. Comment 1. You did nothing wrong, but she did, and now she's finding out her actions have consequences. Comment 2. Not only would I not apologize, I would make sure her colleagues know that the reason she broke the law is because she's horrified that her own grandchild might be like the vulnerable children she works with every day. She shouldn't be in that line of work. Comment 3. Your fiancé's mom was wrong, both legally and ethically, and your fiancé is totally wrong to defend her. It also gives me pause that someone, who does not work in that office, easily accessed her son's file, and the office saying, "We will look into this," is just lame. I'm so sorry, but between this office, your MIL, and your fiancé who thinks that you should apologize to her, you really have a lot to deal with, and none of it is your fault. Story 3. My MIL convinced herself she is moving in with us. An update. About a year ago, I posted about buying my fiancé and me our dream home, a beautiful, modern house in a great up-and-coming area. It was a bit expensive, but we absolutely loved it. It was perfect for our pets, and for the baby we're hoping to conceive pregnant by Christmas, right? It even had a full guest house attached to the main house, which would be ideal for visitors. We couldn't have asked for more. Then the nightmare began. From the second we bought the house, my future mother-in-law, FMIL, announced she was moving in. Apparently, she'd applied for a teaching license in our state, despite being retired, and befriended our next-door neighbor so she could check up on us. She declared she wanted to stay 6 months out of the year in our guest house, despite having her own husband and home on the East Coast. For the past year and a half, I've been battling her over our home. She berated me for painting it. It was an awful navy blue, almost black, and we painted it a lovely taupe color. She completely lost it. How dare we paint her apartment? And if we were going to change things, we needed to get her a pull-out couch in case she had guests. I wanted to throw up hearing her say this. She's conveniently only an awful person to me when we're alone. The moment my fiancé enters the room, she's an angel. I've told him about the things she says, but he claims she would never say them. He acknowledges she's difficult but refuses to confront her. For the past year, I felt sick every time she visited. But I'm so happy to say our house is officially on the market. As sad as I am to give up our dream home, I told my husband I want to live in a very small place next time. We're only looking at houses that don't include a guest house or a guest room. I can't stand my FMIL. She completely ruined our dream house for us, but I'm thrilled to be leaving so we can finally have our life without her constant, unwarranted interference. Thanks for reading. I could complain for hours about how horrible this woman is and how she ruined our dream family home. Comment 1. He understands she's a child but would never say it to her sadly. Why would you marry a guy that won't protect you and lets his mommy chase you out of having a dream home? Comment 2. You married a jellyfish, it seems. Comment 3. Why would you sell your dream house instead of just saying, bananas? Comment 4. You gave up your dream home because your husband couldn't stand up to his mother? I'm sorry, but this is not going to be a solution. She'll just come up with another way to make you miserable. Comment 5. You're selling your house instead of confronting her behavior? That is wild. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.